They're men with purpose. They love their purpose. They love what they're doing, and they're masters at it, and they like being good at it. They don't want to do anything else. So you get their whole characters from that scene. O'Neill and the guys are pretty sharp. They dump all the surveillance devices, and they don't know where they're at. So they would be getting away, but that Lucien Waingro comes back to pop them. They do the big bank robbery, and they're walking out of the bank, and they're home free. They're clear. If not that Waingro had tortured one of the crew and gotten information out of him and tipped off Vincent. So Vincent and those guys get there. Of course, this is the famous shootout. You're going to want to watch it. It's just outstanding scene. Shot by Michael Mann. Andy McDabb, the writer, which is a pseudonym, did the technical advising. His real name, former British infantry soldier Stephen Billy Mitchell, was the technical advisors. The actor shot for months to prepare, 3 months, I believe. And some of them actually cased the real bank ahead of time. Tom Sizemore and the others. Tom Sizemore's in it, by the way. He's fantastic. He's the guy who plays Michael Chirino, and he's great. Man, so many of the actors are good in this. It's just a phenomenal film. And you can watch the scene we're not going to go through, but there was the famous North Hollywood Bank shootout, and the Marines supposedly have used this for training videos and some other people. So this covering each other as Neil and Chris, I guess the point, there's a couple of points to this story. And it would be Neil and Chris covering each other up the street. Now, let me say, Michael Chirino goes off on his own. He breaks from the two of them. He doesn't make it. He has no cover, no way to move. Chris and Neil cover each other well up the street, one firing, one moving. If you like and believe we must forge better, stronger men, please subscribe, comment, like, and we'll keep trying to do it. Chris gets shot. Here's the great point on Neil. We've seen him already talk to Chris. He's a good friend. He wants to help him out. He wants him to be better. When Chris is shot, he picks him up, gets him to a car, gets him out, and gets him to a doctor to fix him up. That's friend. So he has a code. He and Chris are good friends. And he tells Nate, keep him there till I get there. We need to go out together now. So he wants him to get out and not go see Charlene and not try to get Charlene. He knows their cover's blown. He doesn't want to leave Chris behind. He gets him out. Then he gets him to a doctor. So he has a code. He has some good virtues of loyalty, right? And we talk about loyalty a lot here. You also see the difference in men now. Ashley's coming to this place where the guy from Vegas that she's having a fling with, and she doesn't respect him at all now. They're there to set up Chris. So at the end of the film, we're going to end suspense as whether Chris is going to be caught. Vincent does a great job on the phone as he's holding to see if Ashley Judd gives up Chris, Charlene. And they're all on hold, and it's a great moment in the film. But she gives him a sign. She's loyal. She is very loyal to Chris. She helps him get away. That sign's great. And again, you know, here's these juxtapositions of men. Charlene doesn't really respect the guy she's having a fling with. Vincent's wife has a fling with this guy named Ralph. He's obviously an Omega male. Al Pacino walks in with his gun and badge showing. Immediately, Ralph is scared to death. He says, "You can borrow my wife at any time, but not my TV." She says, "Are you angry?" "Oh, yeah, I'm angry." "Sit down, Ralph, sit down." So he's in charge. He's a leader. He's command. He's in charge. She doesn't respect this guy. She even says in front of him, I had to demean myself with Ralph to get closure with you. So again, these women aren't attracted to these Omega guys who aren't on purpose, who are kind of doing nothing. Just a point. He does say in that scene with, I say what I mean and I do what I say and I never cheated on you. So again, both these characters, Neil and Vincent, say what they mean and they do what they say through the whole film most of the time. Say what I mean and I do what I say, he tells his wife. Now there's the whole relationship in the film. Now at the end, Neil goes to get Chris and get him out of the country. He goes up to John Boyd Nate. He says, "Where's Chris?" He went to get Charlene. You can tell he likes Chris. He says, "What?" John Boyd says, "It's a free country, man." Also, at the end, he lets Edie, his Amy Brenneman, who plays Edie, is dating now Neil, Robert De Niro. At the end, he lets her make the decision. Life is short, whatever you get, but he does do something. He says the right words. You want to talk, you want to walk, walk right now. So he gives her the choice, but it's either now or not, right? You either walk now or you're gone. And he does say some nice lines. He says, "There's no point in me going anywhere if it's going to be alone without you." So he's really likes her now. He's really falling for her. It's a change for him. But he does give her the choice. And women like to hear it, right? She's now incredibly important to him. But usually the man's mission comes first, but he's saying, "You're super important." Now, here's how much of purpose he is in this film. The daughter has tried to commit suicide in his hotel room because they've split, in Hannah's hotel room, Vincent Hannah's hotel room. He brings her and carries her into the hospital, wraps her up. The wife sees him. They're sitting there waiting. He gets a beep page. And you can tell all he wants to do is leave and get out of there. He does not. He feels like a caged lion. This is a guy on purpose. And in the scene, he does a great job, Al Pacino. I mean, he's so good in this. You can see that he feels like a caged lion, just wanting to get out. And she says, "Go, go. I know you got to go. So go. I'll be fine." And he flies down the stairs. I can't wait to get out of there. He's like a caged lion. Why are we bringing up the scene? Because that's kind of a guy on purpose. And at the end, Neil and him have that great standout. You can watch it for yourself. We don't need to get through it at the airport. So Mann is a master. He's a master at making films for men and women. Everybody can enjoy this film. It's got something for everybody. What can we learn? Men at the top of their game, masters in a chess match. It's interesting. It's dynamic. Men with skills, men using their minds to achieve their purpose. A good guy whose whole life is catching bad guys. It's a noble pursuit, right? Vincent's whole pursuit is catching bad guys. That's a noble pursuit. Life can have luck and incompetence get in the way, but be prepared and be your best, right? There's the SWAT guy who backs up. Earlier, we didn't talk about it. I'm going to talk about it here for a sec. There's a scene where they're breaking in before the bank at another job. And a SWAT officer makes a slight noise. This is how professional Neil is. He hears it. He says that we walk. So luck can have a play, but if Neil hadn't been a professional, he wouldn't have noticed. And it would have led to a gunfight if he had noticed. And they were very good with guns, so we don't know what would happen. Seemed like a small team. And of course, they got out later. So what's the point? Be prepared. Don't do crime. Just be prepared in whatever you're endeavoring at. And be good at what you do so that luck has a little bit less. Luck will come into your life. That's the way it is. Luck has an impact. It makes a difference. But be good at what you do. And think about this. One guy through the story, one new guy they worked with, Wangro, or they would have not even had the encounter. And everybody would have gotten away. Michael wouldn't have gotten killed. Neil wouldn't have gotten killed. Wangro. He got away. They were professional enough to know you can't have that guy out there. One guy was really the difference. So whom you hang around with, whom you work with matters. It counts. So be careful on that, because it was one guy that destroyed them. One bitter, unprofessional guy who was really not that great, not that sharp. He had loyalty to Chris. It got him out at the risk of himself. That's a good deed. He was mad at Michael when he got killed, and he made a mistake and went back for Wangro. He could have escaped too, actually, even with Wangro. But because of loyalty, for his friend Michael, I believe, I guess, maybe that's it. For some reason, he thought he had to go back to the Marriott and kill Waingro, and he did, but it cost him his life. So out of loyalty to the guys, he does, by the way, follow the code. And when he's walking out of the hotel after killing Waingro, he sees Pacino coming, and he backs away, and the girl watches him leave. It's a very powerful scene. He does follow that discipline. But Nate had told him you shouldn't go back, let it go. And he was going to let it go. And by the way, maybe if Chris hadn't left for Charlene and he had Chris in his ear, a good friend telling him something, that might have been the push, because he's hesitant. He's driving away. So if Chris hadn't left to go get Charlene and Chris was in the car and Chris saying, let's forget it, he probably wouldn't have jeopardized Chris, and they probably all would have made it with all the money. Again, you need friends who will give you good advice and protect you from yourself. Remember the Count of Monte Cristo? In the Count of Monte Cristo, Jacopo was trying to protect the Count of Monte Cristo from what? Himself. So this is a magnificent film to watch for men. It has camaraderie, friendship, risk, courage, everything. Forging better, stronger men for better lives. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite you to subscribe so that you can help us build better, stronger men.